Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, the third in my little trilogy of new Stephen King films I watched last night is Cell. It's very disappointing. I'm kind of glad I saved it for the end, but yeah, it was it was a post-apocalyptic, depressing, dark, miserable, quiet film where nothing really happens, and everyone dies in the end, and it's just a miserable film. So there's the end for you. Um, Basically, there is a guy played by John Cusack who has. It does reunite John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson from 1408, and they were great in that. And they are great actors. They give good performances. It's just the film that's bad. Well, it's not bad. I don't really believe in bad films, but it's not the kind of film I want to watch. Not the kind of film I enjoy or anything. So basically, there is a guy who has left his wife and his child, and he's trying to produce a graphic novel. And he's at an airport, his battery's gone dead, he's calling the wife because he's trying to reconcile with them. And then suddenly there's this signal which is sent out over all the mobile phones, apparently all around at least America, probably the world. And everyone with a phone who's heard this signal suddenly becomes possessed and becomes like a zombie and starts killing everyone. So John Cusack escapes, and he ends up in a train underneath the airport with Samuel L. Jackson, who was a train driver, or I think it's a bus or a train, I don't know. But eventually, them and another guy decide to leave. That guy gets killed by a phoner, which is a bit of a groaner. The whole film's a groaner, really. And they eventually end up in, I think it's Samuel L. Jackson's character's house. And then they meet a neighbour of his who had to kill her mother, so that then the three of them go off together. They eventually end up at a high school where they see a whole bunch of phoners walking around because they're able to emit. They meet a teacher, a principal, and a student at this school, and he theorizes that they've established a hive mind through this signal, and they're able to transmit signals. I'm like, they're not machines. People just can't suddenly start transmitting signals. And the whole thing of all the brain, we don't understand the brain, we only use so much of it. It's basically like a bit like, no. There's no way we're sending out signals like electronic equipment. It's just really stupid. I really thought, and I'm really disappointed to see that Stephen King wrote this because it's awful. It's bad science fiction. There's so many ways they could have done it in an interesting way, but they've just made it I think implausible. So they basically these phoners basically they just all open their mouths, emit a signal, and turn around and basically go home at night, like they're being put on standby. It's almost like the film is almost like a joke in a way. It's very dark and serious and traumatic and brutal, but it's also sort of a joke as well. It's like, oh, they're just like their phones. They just get switched off at night. So they're walking around in circles on this, or maybe they were standing on this oval at the high school. And then they douse them in petrol and light them all on fire. Unfortunately, they also blow up some of the petrol and kill the principal, and then they end up taking on the student. So now there's John Cusack, Samuel L. Jackson, the girl, and the boy. And then they end up meeting another group and another group, and they just keep on meeting people who die. And then they all have a dream about this raggedy man in a red hoodie and they have this idea to go to this park, which apparently has no signal, where they'll be safe or something. No phone signal, so they'll be safe. But then that apparently is a trick by that man who's creating an illusion. And the John Cusack character finds that, his wife has been turned, his daughter has been turned, they're phoners, and he finds out that there is a tower that all these phoners are surrounding. So he decides to blow it up. So he drives in with his car and he blows it up. Then he finds his son and he hugs his son and apparently kills the guy in the red hoodie, and then they leave. But that doesn't really happen. What really happens is he gets turned into a phoner, and then he's just walking around the tower in a circle with all the other phoners, totally oblivious, just a zombie. And in his imagination, him and his son have gone off together. So it's a very depressing, miserable movie. It's dark. There's nothing entertaining about it, nothing nice about it, nothing fun about it. I know there must be some people out there who like these sort of nihilistic films that like The Mist, where there's just a horrible ending and no hope and no, just, I didn't like it. I found it was boring and tedious and painful to watch and no fun, no thrill, no, you weren't really scared because the idea was too stupid. You couldn't take the phoners seriously. Like I said, they were groaners. But yeah, so I'm just going to leave that there. It was released in 2016, only made 1 million. I'm not surprised. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about it. A waste of two really good actors and a decent budget. The production looked okay, but yeah,